Guys, XCOM 2 is an absolute classic. It's a really fun strategy game that is now available on Nintendo Switch. Just an FYI, War of the Chosen versus the base game. War of the Chosen just has more content. Otherwise, they're the same game. So there's really no point in choosing just regular XCOM 2. The only complaint that I have about this game, and I'm going to get that out of the way right at the beginning, is that the loading times are really, really long. I have this actually really sped up on 3x, but all of the loading times take a really long time in this game. One of the cool things about it is there's both a focus on the actual strategy game as well as the overall strategy of managing your army. And here you have an underground base, which is the XCOM headquarters. And from there, you're going to actually launch all of your operations. The premise of this game is the aliens have pretty much already taken over the world. The humans are losing, and a lot of the humans have been indoctrinated into this like cult-like alien group, and XCOM is really the only group that's standing in the way of taking back and maintaining ground. So in this game, you're actually going to travel around the world and try to liberate different areas. Here we're in the armory, and we're going to go ahead and modify our different soldiers. There is a huge variety of soldiers in this game, much more than the first game, and a huge variety of armor, different weapons, and each of the character classes as well are super unique. All of this really makes you vary your team a little bit because you need each of the skills on each of your teams. And it's just really helpful. There's a ton of balancing that went into this game, and none of the units feel pointless. I actually use all of them. It's really cool because you can manage all of your units and all the way down to all of their equipment. Here I'm going to modify, say, one of my sniper's laser guns, so I'm going to actually change out the different accessories for the mission set that we're going to be going on, and this is really cool. There's just so much customization here that you can be doing, and you really get attached to your characters, but I think that's because this level of customization, you really can pour a lot of time into customizing your guys and loading them out exactly how you would like. All right, so my guy here is now good to go. You can also manage character skills, and this is useful as well. You can give them different abilities as they level up, and those abilities will help them in combat and also kind of differentiate them from the other type of units on the team, which gives you different advantages for different mission sets. So it makes sense to raise a wide variety of different type of soldiers for your kind of battle. As well, there's the guerrilla tactics school where you can study new tactics for the team. There's engineering here, and then here they're going to produce different types of items that your team can actually use based on research and technology you've already unlocked. As well, this is the team that's going to go through and actually do base upgrades and unlock new rooms and different areas of the base itself. So engineering, also very important. From there, we're going to move on and go over to research. So research itself is critically important in this game. The scientists will actually discover new technologies. As you progress through the game, you're going to take things from the enemy, and then your scientists can actually research those things, which unlock new technologies for your team as well, obviously making XCOM position better in battle against the actual enemies in this game. And so all of these are really important. The base building is just as important as the battle itself. I won't spoil the story here, but basically you're trying to stop Advent, which is the totalitarian regime the alien overlords have set up, and they have a project called Project Avatar that you are trying to stop. I won't spoil what this is, but it's it definitely makes you feel the weight of the world in that you're trying to rescue the world from this alien totalitarian regime. So towards the end of the game, which is where I am here, I've actually liberated most of it, but now we're just trying to stop this final project. And so you can actually issue these covert missions, they're called, which have different effects on the game. It's actually important to do these as it buys you more time, especially with stopping the aliens' plans. It kind of sabotages them. But it serves a secondary purpose in that it trains up the soldiers that you don't normally use. So if you lose one of your main soldiers in combat, you kind of have a bench built of others that have experience already, even if you haven't gone out and used them in direct combat yet. So these can be really helpful. Oftentimes you'll just do things like slow down the Advent's progress on their projects, things like that, as you need more time to go through the missions, the main storyline in the actual game world. So here I'm going to select 2 units that I don't usually play with, just because we're trying to build a wider bench. And you can see that these are ranked lower. The soldiers that you send out on these covert actions will actually rank up over time as well. And that's useful for building that wider bench of soldiers for your actual missions themselves. Okay, so that's most of the base management and the actual army management. Now let's talk about the gameplay itself and actually diving into one of these battles. So here I'm going to attack this Advent facility. And you can see here, this is my team that I've put together. These are all the guys that I used for my last mission as well. I have about 12 main characters that I play through, though depending on the mission, I will swap out the different characters based on different needs. So in this case, I've kind of finally selected my guys, and as well, you have the option to equip different equipment from this view and just kind of manage everything prior to actually jumping into the fight. Now I'll skip past the crazy long loading scenes. This is kind of cool cinematics as they leave the base and as they land at the next base, but I skipped a lot of the loading scenes here in the editing. But once you get in game, you're going to want to start doing recon first, so I've sped this up to 4x because it is a lot of just moving guys around behind cover slowly but surely. Again, the goal here is, generally speaking, to not go too far in because you don't want to step into an ambush. Yet at the same time, you want to be strategic and make sure that if there is an ambush, you can counter ambush it with all your guys in place. So the first couple turns is, generally speaking, just positioning everyone, kind of exploring the map, sending your Reapers out, who are the hidden camouflage types that can remain hidden, and then sending the rest of your guys to kind of back them up. So now we're going to continue to send our guys through here, and again, just inching them closer to the enemy base without tripping anything. Hopefully you can see there that man-made structure, that fence up there, that was the actual enemy base, or at least the start of it. Okay, now you can see that there's this building in here. I'm going to go ahead and try to clear the building with my guys in here. So let's go ahead and send one in, and it's going to begin this cool montage kicking the door in. But you can see immediately that some enemies have spotted us. So now we know that we've made contact with the enemy here. The game is procedurally generated, so the maps are never the same, nor are the placement of the bad guys, so every mission ends up being super unique. So my soldier still has one action move left. I have a choice. I can either engage them, but my guys aren't positioned in a way that's favorable, so I'm going to go ahead and retreat. Remember, it's always best to get off the X rather than trying to just fight through an ambush. It's better to escape and then counter ambush. So in this case, I evaluated all of my moves. I think I'm going to go ahead and attack here to show the weapons and the types of attacks that your different units can use. Here, this is a heavy unit, and he has sort of like a Gatling laser type gun. We got a clean hit here, and it also did some shredding damage, which damages the enemy's armor. This character can actually have 2 attacks, so I am going to actually use the second one for Overwatch here. Now it's the enemy's move. The enemy's going to go ahead and make their move, and then you can see it activated his Overwatch ability, which means now he has a chance to fire at the enemy. Unfortunately, we missed, so now the enemy is going to continue their move, and you can see here that he's probably going to attack my unit. Let's see what happens. Okay, so those giant mech units can be pretty dangerous. He's firing these rockets off, which completely destroy the buildings and all of the cover around my character. Now, my other unit had Overwatch here, and that one landed. And that's a good thing because that's going to protect my my other unit here. Otherwise, that guy that just moved probably would have blasted my guy. And then you can see this guy's moving in here. Unfortunately, there's nobody to stop him since we're out of Overwatch attacks, and he's using the flamethrower, which is going to hurt my guy a little bit. But because my guys are very highly promoted, and they're kind of the top tier units that you can get in the game at this point, high armor and really strong weapons, high rank, that doesn't do that much. So anyways, we're going to go ahead and proceed with our assault. So I'm going to kind of prep my guys in position to, again, watch this building up here. And I'm going to move them into position to go ahead and assault the units that are remaining. This guy has a special move, and I'm going to go ahead and use it now because it's going to cause that giant robot unit to take a lot of damage in my next attack. So this type of unit that I have here, he can do certain types of special attacks on enemies, and he's kind of more of like a support unit. Now you can see here that when we actually shoot him with one of my more combat type units, this guy's going to do a ton of damage, and then I'm going to use his special move as well. This one's called Rupture, and this just does a crazy amount of damage. You can see that completely destroyed that mechanized unit there. And the guys that are remaining are going to be a lot easier to deal with now. So we're going to go ahead and attack with the rest of our guys, rather than doing kind of a counterattack. Now we're actually going to go on the offensive. So a lot of XCOM is really this kind of push and pull, like when to be aggressive and attack hard, when to retreat and fall back in ambush. And that's what makes this game so fun, is eventually you get an idea of, you know, what kind of tactics work best when dealing with these alien threats, as well as kind of positioning and always trying to get the upper hand when jumping into these combat type situations. These missions can easily go south very, very quickly, and that's why this game is really kind of unpredictable but a lot of fun. All right, so now we have that recon unit, the Reaper, kind of positioned in a much better spot. He's able to see well into the enemy base. We can get a kind of picture of the resistance that we're going to face when we actually assault here. And now I'm going to kind of fine-tune my positioning to make sure my units are all in a good place to assault the base. The nice thing about the special classes here, for example, the Reaper, is that he can actually do these kind of stealth type attacks. He can't do too many of them, but he can remain in cover while doing certain types of stealth activities. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and sting that automated turret up there to do a little bit of damage and wear it down, make it easier to take down later. And there's certain attacks like this that you can do that they're weak attacks, but they'll keep your unit hidden. So you can see here, he's almost kind of like a sniper. He went ahead and took that shot that makes this thing aware, but it still can't see any of our units. And so that's a useful type of attack. Okay, now I'm going to really speed things up here, but a lot of XCOM really is just kind of this positioning, kind of moving inch by inch and then putting your units into Overwatch. Overwatch that are going to go ahead and fire their moves off. You'll see here that as they continue to move, it'll activate my units that were set to Overwatch previously, so those are going to now fire. Unfortunately, it was a miss because this guy is using a pistol, so not the best, but now you can see here that there's going to be this guy's going to fire his attack. He's a psychic unit. Had that actually worked, that would have been devastating because then he can take control of one of your units. So it's definitely really challenging when that happens because they'll do a lot of damage unless you can stop your own unit, and it just can really wreak havoc when that happens. So here we're going to go ahead and take that guy out because he's a pretty significant threat. And then we're going to just full-on assault now with the rest of our units here. Now, this unit's pretty cool because it can do melee type attacks, and this one is really powerful against robotic type threats, so that's going to destroy that unit, which is actually a very dangerous unit in game. That one can fire this huge laser that can be devastating against your troops. All right, and next we're going to actually do the objective. Now they're going to place the C4 on the factory, which will go ahead and complete objective 1 of this actual mission here. All right, so now you get that cool little animation of them setting the charge. All right, our next step is going to be preparing for the actual extraction. So now I'm going to move my units out of here. So the final step is going to be to actually call in our extraction. So I'm going to go ahead and set the extraction area somewhere that is going to be pretty safe and easy to get to from where all of my troops are currently located. Need to get these guys that are inside of the building out right away, just in case there's more units somewhere further inside the facility. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. We were actually lucky because the attack point was spawned right up towards the outside of the building. Sometimes, like where you're supposed to place the C4, if it's this type of destruction type mission, sometimes the game will spawn it way further in. So this one was actually really easy. So now as we evac all of our guys out and we put any units that aren't going to be able to make it into Overwatch, that's going to allow us to counter ambush just in case any of the enemies come and try to assault as we're trying to escape. So you're going to see here that after this, I'm going to go ahead and throw all these guys into Overwatch that are left. I think there's only 2 units that I wasn't able to extract. And sometimes the computer will actually then put the pressure on you to escape. They'll actually insert units to battle your guys that are left. And so that's why it's really important to keep everybody kind of close and near the extraction point. So we're not going to give them a chance to do that. We're going to go ahead and evacuate. And just like that, we have completed the mission successfully. Oh wait, one more guy. Let's get him out of here too. And now we've completed the mission successfully. So it blows up and you can see mission complete. So that's it, guys. I love XCOM. It's a great game. Subscribe to the channel if you like this. Have a great day.